night. And now in Game 5, do they have anything better?
BLG had a first pick from right of first selection. They will lock that in. Yone banned by T1 to kick us off. Lucian and Nocturne taken away. The Xin Shao still one that automatically rises to the front of my mind when I think of Oner. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that banned away by BLG. Varus and Vayne, though, so far have made their way through the draft. No Orianas, no surprise. It's Faker on Oriana, and it's Knight on Oriana. No one, well, we all want to see it, but no one from either of these teams wants to give the other that much of an advantage.
My Akali dream is still alive, though. I really have been hoping for this Akali. Akali Sylas is available. That was one of my favorite metas of all time for mid lane. Let's see, though, if they whittle it down. The Vayne now does not make it through.
So Varus jumps up, Xin Shao jumps up.
So if the Xin gets picked early, then you can do stuff into it still, like a Kha'Zix or a Trundle pick and stuff too. So you have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah.
Shun definitely could pull out the Kha'Zix for sure. And in Game 5, that type of stuff is exactly the direction that we see a lot. So the Varus, the other priority pick, finds his way to the top 2.
BLG, first pick, Rumble. Seen it banned a couple of times, is just going to get locked in straight away for Bin. Bin in lane has been absolutely dominant. There is no other word for it. He has been so good in the 1v1. However, Doran has got a couple of friends. We've seen Peyz go up towards the top side to help out. We've seen Keria go up towards the top side to help out. We've seen Oner go up towards the top side to help out.
I consider myself a friend of Doran too, so, you know.
I buy his items, therefore I'm his friend. That's
He's got me over here. Oh, wow, the Trundle actually coming up even earlier than we talked about. But they're going to slam that one first. And like I said, you know, it also kind of like dissuades you a little bit because it is good into dueling the Xin. So could make you not want to go that now on the side of BLG.
I'm also wondering if T1 wants to go towards something like the Sion, and it's just a takeaway. It's a, hey, we want to play a top lane tank. Sion into Rumble, you do just get burnt, but you shouldn't die too easily, right? You can farm up in that lane, you've got your shield from the Soul Furnace. Ornn does a similar thing and gives you a bit more long-range engage. But instead, it is going to be a Gnar locked in for Doran on top side.
And that has been heavy on the ban list as well, so finally getting through here in the end. There's our Pantheon, the point and click we're looking for, and the global as well.
Also Shun's most played across the course of spring, so wouldn't be surprised at all if that is locked in for BLG. You can use the pillar to interrupt the shield bash, that jump forward. Instead, BLG taking a moment to think about exactly where they want to go.
Ooh, Ashe Seraphine here versus Peyz and Keria. A lot of stuff is down already though, so they're thinking, okay, well, with the Caitlyn Bard down, with the Elise down, with the Pyke, with the Camille, with all of this stuff down, what about, okay, Ezreal's gone. I was gonna say Karma plus something else to do the heavy poke lane, but the Ezreal's already out there as well. Tough. It is getting a little bit deep.
I mean, you could go hyperscale. You could like,
yeah,
Yunara, Sivir.
Yeah, a Peyz Keria like the Lulu Zeri that we've been talking about.
The other option is you go really aggressive, Kalista, Renata, but then you have to win early, otherwise the Ashe Seraphine is just going to root you up and slow you down too much.
And honestly, both of those options, Peyz has been able to pilot extremely effectively. The Taliyah finally makes her way out as well. Okay, Faker going to grab that one first.
Another great roaming mid laner. All over the map. Knight still has a ton of options in his toolkit. We are falling lower down, but you look to things like the LeBlanc, which will struggle a little bit into the Taliyah. You still have the Twisted Fate as well. You want to go that route. Anivia still has made its way through. There's a Xin Shao ban, which does make sense. Even though the Trundle is good into it, Xin Shao Seraphine is just such a strong combination.
Yeah, makes your team fight insane. Do they need to protect the Taliyah at all? I guess not really. It's not that much left.
I like the Zeri ban. We've seen Zeri Yumis specifically into Ashe Seraphine, because the idea is just flash the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Just don't get hit by it, and then run at them. And you can just run them down with the Crash Lightning and with your Burst Fire. Also, it's Peyz. The thing is, you could say that so often. Oh, it's Peyz. Maybe you shouldn't give him Jinx.
Yeah, but with
Zeri,
Zeri, it's really it's Peyz.
Most pentakills of any player internationally at 15, I believe. And a lot of those coming on this Zeri. And Pantheon is the final ban from T1. BLG, do you shore up your bot lane a little bit, or do you look towards pinching? I mean, support is the other option. You can ban out one of those, try and get Keria on something I was going to say he's less comfortable with, but he's pretty comfy on the majority of the 170-odd champions available to him.
And the idea, whatever it's going to be, is still going to be the same. Ashe and Seraphine, while they did take over the meta, they are vulnerable to high-pressure mobility champions, and you want to try and put some kill pressure and burn through their flashes and attack them. So you ban away the Zeri, but Yunara still up and available to do the Yunara-Lulu combination.
But we haven't seen the Lulu. In my head, we had Yunara-Lulu. Makes sense. Lulu is going to be the first of the two selected. Does give you other options.
Like Jinx or something?
Lulu. Jinx. I mean, hyper carry. I like Yunara. I agree with you. I'm just saying.
It's because I still would prefer him to have the jump. That's why I like the Yunara more.
Yeah, but they've done this for a reason, and you already know enemy support.
Yeah.
I guess the one argument is the Seraphine could be flexed to mid, and then you could have Ashe, Lulu bot lane, Seraphine mid, and just pick an AD jungler.
Night
but you don't
Syndra.
have too many left. Night Syndra is locked in, as you say, across his career. This is his third most played with an 80% win rate.
Yeah, insane. Ooh, Reset City here. Is it Shun time?
Oh,
Talk about
Shun's
player
Kindred.
champions.
Oh
Shun brings out his Kindred in Game 5.
Eponymous with Shun is this Kindred. So often seen as just a facilitator, he can take over a game, as we've already seen in this series with the Kiana, with the Neferi, and there is the Yunara locked in for T1.
He's going to try and dance around this Trundle. You have to be a little bit careful there with the Talia rocks and with a Lulu in the game. Until you get your extra marks for your extra range, you definitely have to be very careful. But this is an oldie but a goodie here from Shun, signature champion. Let's see it. And he does have setup in mid lane and bottom lane, both with CC, with skill shots to hit into champions that they definitely can take advantage of. Oh my goodness, Game 5, all coming down to this, and it smiles all around.
Oh, I mean, it's because it's double elimination as well. Like, obviously you're having fun. You know you have another shot, another bite at the cherry if you miss on this one. But what a series it has been today, Kobe. What a best of 5. We've had 2 in a row. The second series of each day seems to just be a banger right now. As T1 and BLG ready to battle it out on the Rift once more. Historically, MSI has been BLG's territory. 3-1 so far in series, but in this one, T1 have bitten back. They struck in Game 4 in dominant fashion, and now, as we go into Game 5, it is the swell of the crowd support behind them that buoys them up.
I kind of want to point out too, I don't know if they actually could even get a camera shot, but there not only is every seat filled in here, but there are people lining the walls.
There's
there are
like
people,
50 to 100 people at the back.
There's not even extra seats in here. There's just people all lining the walls for Game 5, T1, BLG. Shun throws down, last pick, Kindred jungle coming in. They got Shun, Kindred, Night Syndra, signature champions. All right, let's see about the jungle clears. Is going to be an early invade. The Kindred, always very tricky early on. And Shun, I assume, did the Q over the back of the Dragon Pit wall.
No, he
in
walked
here.
through Tribush.
Or could even just walk in through here.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be able to steal away this red buff.
And you can see immediate pings. Oner looking for the
Yeah,
invade on the Razor Beaks as well. Shun will get the red. It's going to be an exchange. Shun spotted on the Razor Beaks as well, as Oner is.
So again, we were talking about the vertical jungle. Split the jungle for your bot lane matchup here. Your Ashe Seraphine. Could be a very painful lane as Faker goes fairly aggressive with his positioning in tonight. But trying to split this bottom lane to make sure you have jungle priority and you have range priority. The harassment from Ashe Seraphine, they rose to power. with the synergy between the slow into the guaranteed snare from the Seraphine. And Shun splitting the jungle here, gonna apply the extra pressure. They're slowly building the wave, pushing in.
Congratulations, sorry, very quickly, Kobe. Congratulations to Doran passing Perks, the 21st most wins.
Yeah, G2 coach Perks, right?
Yeah. Positional coach, I believe. T1 in Game 5s at MSI, don't have a winning record, 5-7. At Worlds, though, 8-2. As we've said a few times, T1 tend to level up when it comes towards that Worlds Championship, but for BLG at MSI, they have that winning record in best of fives, but at Worlds, well, at least one of those losses has been to T1.
And I love the strat from BLG. You know, Peyz has been the guy. Peyz is him, okay, at this tournament so far. And they're like, you know what? We're going to split the map. We're going to try and get as much poke damage on you under tower. We're going to try and limit the income of this Unar fairly early on. So Viper and On, getting that push, getting that CS lead, trying to work away at tower plate money. Scuttle Crab, actually, the first mark does spawn towards Shun as well. Nice for him, so should be able to pick this one instantly. Mark number 1 in the bag. Looking for the big 4, of course.
Yeah, 4 gets you that initial
breakpoint
with the extra range, and then every 3 after that, I believe, is the next breakpoint. So want to be stacking up as quickly as possible. The later on into the game you go, the harder it is to get them as they start to spawn on big objectives in your enemy's jungle. It's a lot trickier for you to find them. So we'll expect to see BLG actually playing around Shun to make sure that he can get some of these invades. At the moment, relatively even between the two teams. Carl bought for Peyz. He's just trying to survive through this lane and get towards that later game portion. Faker is also stacking up his team.
Here's a critical point, too, because respawn of both Raptors, and Shun is actually coming to contest enemy Raptors first to push Oner.
We'll be able to push him out. Control ward down, though, and Oner with the frozen domain looking for the chase. Faker stunned up. Scan of the weak flash away from Shun.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. Mid lane determines the Raptor camp, and flash used by Shun, but he's returning for round 2.
Yeah, he wants to get that smite. This is a mark. If you can get to that 4, it's massive for the Kindred. Oner tries to go back in with the chomp. Hawk shot used as well to give vision in the bush.
Bot lane's joining the party.
On and Viper here. We said they play around it. Oner looking for it. Seismic Shove's going to get the knockback. The dash in, the stun. Shun gets it in the end as T1 unable to stop the Kindred from getting her second mark.
Mark acquired. All right, bottom lane pulled all the way over here, too. Now trying to make their way right back. I mean, that's a very quick 2 marks.
Yeah.
Kindred, typically in solo queue, you can stack your marks a lot quicker than you can in professional play. One of the big differences of the champion, because there are far less frequent scrambles of fights and random kills and stuff where you get to be able to mark stuff, but getting an early 2 for Shun here this time around, and mid lane as well.
Unleash power! Knight almost takes out Faker. He has to flash away and now has to walk the long way home. No TP for Faker either. Will be a while before he's back in this lane. He's going to lose most of this cannon wave, although with Oner coming across, it looks like Faker has found the bravery to walk back forward in the lane.
Yeah, the power there of Knight Syndra definitely felt. Faker does at least tick over to level 6 off of this. Knight continuing the push, though. He's low on mana, going to go for the reset afterwards, and Faker can just catch.
Importantly, Knight using his mana to get the push there means that Faker knows he's not under any threat if Knight stays around. Knight also knows that, which is why he has gone by and back to that fountain.
So, though, it's another game. Gold leads all the way down here for BLG. Remember, they got pushing lanes again. Nice little split on the jungle, too, and getting the early marks for jungle, for Kindred, for Shun here is another good early start for BLG. Of course, T1, they turned that right around in game number 4, the previous one that we just saw, with a lot of good play out of especially Peyz and Keria. But this time around, they're not on those playmaking champions.
Yeah.
The Mel and the Pike are built for it. The Unar and the Lulu, not so much. Gonna have to look a lot more towards farm.
I think generally T1 feel like they have to look a little bit more towards farm. Like, Talia has the seismic shove, Doran has the Gnar, but mostly it's a, hey, let's wait for team fights and then let's look for some good team fights. They have strong front to back. And Subjugate will help them with that, although there's no true tank on the side of BLG. As Shun is going to start up this Drake. Peyz underneath this tower, caught out by the volley. and almost dies to the beat drop, but does manage to live through it.
All right, should finish up on that Dragon 2 with their priority in both mid lane and bottom lane. And during that timer of the Dragon where you know they're taking it, Oner slinking around, trying to make something happen, but they invested 2 control wards over here to try and get control and access from their jungle over towards mid lane. But it's not going to amount to much at all in BLG's early game plan going swimmingly here. Nice early leads for them across the board and the objectives as well.
Yeah, they're in a prime position in this game. 1,000 gold ahead, spread across the lanes as well. Knight obviously with that advantage, building up the splinters almost at 40, which gives you the double Dark Sphere. Allows you to keep 1 stack in reserve, and then it actually accelerates the speed at which you can get more. As our On and Viper now move towards the top side, 15 seconds on the grubs. BLG really just looking to take everything off the map in this early game.
See about this invade though, because Oner is here with ult.
Jumps onto Shun. Dance of arrows, the impale, the pillar not stopping it. We'll see the Lamb's Dress by coming out as well. There's the encore as BLG one more out of the fight. Shun takes it, takes his 4th mark. Oner a little greedy, flashing into the Krug pit.
Oh, very greedy. This is after this lane swap, and you know you've got Viper and On up there. I mean, dying up around the Krug's kind of reminiscent of against HLE. But he didn't hesitate. He flashed over to follow Shun, and Shun's got teammates.
And he has his ultimate as well. You've got the Lamb's Respite in that situation. Oner perhaps thinking, if I flash Chomp immediately, Shun won't have the time to use that Kindred ultimate, but Shun is so experienced on this pick as Peyz and Keria alongside Oner come across to try and contest the grubs. 1 taken, secured by On, and it looks like BLG will give up the ghost of the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, Oner gets back up and is able to make it back out in time to grab the other 2, but I mean, that just pushed the gold lead to 2K for BLG, plus no flash, and I believe Shun had him marked.
Yeah, he got his 4th mark from it as far as I saw. So
that is crazy. In a pro game, 4 marks at 9 minutes?
Yeah. That is absurdly fast. We'll have another look back at it. As you said, the red contest, it's a good start for Oner, right? You go in, you get the Chomp, you have Frozen Domain for the attack speed. Pillar doesn't interrupt the Dance of Arrows, but at this point, it just goes sideways.
Yeah. He wanted to fall over, but On, really nice shot there. Bounce the ultimate off Shun's head, able to connect. Oner knew as soon as he had gone over there too, it's like, ooh, whoops. Yep. I think it's a bit too far. I got to get out of here. He was trying to run away afterwards, tried to flash out immediately, but not quick enough. On is there, On connects, and it means Shun on his Kindred. Not only is he well set up with marks, but he's super well set up with gold too.
Yep. 650 gold ahead, the only lead for T1. Doran, who has not often had that luxury throughout this series, in the lane doing a good job of keeping Bin a little bit stifled. Bin is running the Deathfire Touch instead of something like the First Strike to print money on this Rumble, but Doran with that range advantage continues to just chip away at this Rumble. Doesn't get that second hyper charge. At the moment, even though Doran is winning out on the 1v1 top, it feels like the rest of the map really belongs to BLG. Chana Crystal Arrow doesn't find anyone, as Faker was too far forward in the lane for that to connect.
Meanwhile, this is set up for success for Shun here. I mean, he's got Enchanters to back him up, plenty of CC. You have Hawkshot, the dream for a Kindred.
Yeah.
Kindred with an early lead against a Trundle. I mean, especially with the added vision control and pushing lanes. Really such a beautiful setup for him in this game to control. Let's see though, T1 creativity. What can they pull out in this game?
But it's also, where do you find that creativity? You talked about it earlier, that the agency in terms of individual plays, in terms of those highlight moments that we often see from Keria, from Oner, it's just not there. You're a Trundle and a Lulu, and yes, in team fights you should be pretty strong, but in terms of finding a good bone skewer or catching someone out in the enemy jungle, it's so much trickier.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's going to be very difficult because you've got a Kindred with accelerated money, so Trinity Force is already done, even though he stopped off for an early No Magic Mantle. Trinity Force is already done for Shun, and he's got pushing lanes to play with and Enchanters, and they're just going to keep on jungle invading.
Yeah. That's all they need to do. Keep getting Shun as far ahead as possible. They use the force of will to drag the red buff away. And
that's 5.
Oner, unable to get close enough to take it. Scuttle Crab, the next target for Shun. Next Drake is also available to BLG. They want to keep this tempo up, and it makes sense. Continue pushing your advantage where you can. Looks like Shun just playing around the tri-bush there. He's going to wait for the wave to be caught by Viper and On, and then turn his attentions across towards that Ocean Dragon.
I mean, I guess you can say it again has to come down to some team fights for T1 to come up with some really big plays.
Yeah.
If you theoretically, you know, Doran, Gnar, you can try and like push people off of a Kindred ultimate or something like that. Kindred it's a very high pressure champion, but if you can CC chain with like Lulu and Gnar or something, you're trying to cook up dream scenarios here, but you can like, you know, push them off of ultimate or CC chain them or something like that to try and pull this lead back. But otherwise, Shun's doing a very good job increasing this gold lead, taking away camps, and Faker under attack.
The encore onto Faker, unleash power from Knight, makes Faker take a knee.
Dude, hats off to On, okay? Yep. Another really good ultimate on his mid timer here. Support able to make a big difference. Gets another kill. This one for Knight. And level 11 with 74 splinters is pretty good for him too.
Yeah, he's in such an accelerated position as well. As you say, 2,000 gold now the lead for BLG. And if you're looking at it from T1's perspective, it's becoming less expected and more miraculous in terms of a turnaround. You are looking for things outside the norm, to say the least. And even if you find a wombo combo, and even if you find a good team fight, you then still have to deal with a Lamb's Respite. You can see in this Coinbase gold grind that Shun is 1,200 gold ahead, and a lot of that is just from the fact that he's been able to get, you know, the extra kill, the extra minions. He's farming quicker, 40 CS up in the jungle as now he steps forward in the mid lane with the Triforce already complete. Keria and Peyz will be able to clear out the wave.
It's just beautiful because Kindred can actually lend a lot of help in sieges. Not all junglers can, and so he's cleared all these camps, can just come over to help support the Ashe and the Seraphine here, and they just continue to lay on the damage while they're sieging, while they're keeping this pressure up. BLG able to keep that control, and Scuttle Crab will spawn right into their arms.
Easy enough for Shun to take that 2-level lead for Shun now over Oner, and it's almost a true 2 levels as well. Oner only about a third of the way to that level 10. Equalizer down from Bin with a TP behind Faker. Knight will join first. Seismic Shove doesn't connect. The scout of the week will, though. Shun looking for the beat drop alongside On towards the bottom side, but in the end, T1 will be able to walk out. Invested was an equalizer and an enchanted crystal arrow alongside the Transcend oneself. That's Yunaba's ultimate. But with T1 on the back foot, BLG will happily take a consolation prize of the Rift Herald.
Doran's gonna take a look, but yeah, they are indeed going to take that prize. And Shun gonna go home with the accelerated recall immediately with it too. BLG doing exactly what they need to progress this game. Nice snowball so far. T1 though, Peyz gonna try and push back out. Maybe he really wants that turret plate. Ooh, okay, he's not gonna greed for it. Doesn't want to knock the crystals off as Oner's taking away the blue buff, so they collapse into the jungle and...
Oh, flash away from Knight. Scatter the, Seismic Shove, I think, was coming out under his feet, so didn't want to get caught on that unraveled earth. Knight with the force of will to claim the blue buff. 1,000 gold lead for Doran in the top lane, by the way. But a 1.4k and a 1.1k for Knight and Shun in their respective roles means the gold still sits very handily 2,000 ahead for BLG. Next Drake up in a minute 10 will be the third for BLG if they can take it. And I wonder if T1 are ready to fight yet. Still no first item on Faker. Peyz has a Kraken Slayer. You've got Mikhail's.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
I mean, honestly, not too bad of a time. When you're talking about Doran, I think that is a good point. He's got his flash too.
Yeah.
So definitely could be a large difference maker in that team fight. We've seen so many turned by a huge Gnar ultimate. And while BLG have done a very good job in the early stages here to get their lead, and especially Shun has just cemented his lead with the experience difference you're talking about, still, we are looking for a critical fight.
Chase on to Viper, who has to flash over the pillar. Good slow initially. Knight looking for Faker. Scan of the week finds its mark. But, no further follow-up there from Knight, who is at 84 splinters on his way towards getting that extra execution on the ultimate. Shun down towards the river now. Is going to be able to clear out some vision with BLG. Faker, Seraph's complete.
Yeah, I think before BLG get their second items,
yeah,
T1 might need to do something.
You can see the range from Shun as well as we have the beat drop onto Oner. Enchanted Chris Lara hits onto Keria on the back line. The encore coming out as well. But BLG, they hold their horses. They rein them in. They say, not yet. We don't have to go for the full court press. Instead, take a moment, take a second, and reset. Let Bin join us. We force them away. They're low HP. BLG now trying to make a play on two fronts as Knight and Viper play for the Drake, and the push in mid means that T1 can't get in to contest.
Yeah, so much damage there from BLG. Even though they don't get a kill, they push them off and they secure their Dragon Soul point. They've already made the bridge now. It's going to be very rough for T1. The clock on the very early Mountain Soul in this game. And BLG are just going to continue to increase this jungle lead. Kindred constantly will just continue to counter jungle a Trundle.
I think the only shining light for T1 is that the gold lead isn't exploding. It is expanding, but not at a cataclysmic rate. 2,000 to 2.3 thousand. It's, you know, it's advantages, but sometimes BLG don't push those advantages as quickly as they could. They often do, but when they fail, it's because, at least in my eyes, they don't totally suffocate their opponents out of the game. Instead, they're willing to wait the 4 minutes, say, okay, we'll play for the Mountain Drake, maybe we'll find a pick here or there. The question is, will that be the case here? Is that the way T1 maybe get back into the game? Because BLG so far, when they've been in this position, in this series, have not given up the game.
On again has been, wait a second, Knight does hit the stun here onto Faker, and
Faker looking to try to trade back. Doran's on his way across, but Faker losing out on the 1v1. Unleash power, Seraph's the shield enough. Faker dashes away from the Dark Sphere. Faker with the seismic shove! Take a bow, Knight, because Faker is king here, and you must genuflect in front of him.
He uses the flash, he gets the shutdown, and the crowd erupts. Teleport down here from Bid to clean up the minion wave, though. They're trying to remain calm and deal with the aftermath of this. Knight really thought he had him. He goes for the stun, hits it onto Faker, then he's like, okay, I can close the distance. Faker moved up from that Q, and he dodged the other Q too. Only thing that hit there is the ultimate, the point and click. And Faker's able to finish him off. Nicely done. Gets the shutdown. No flash now on the Talia. And let's see, T1, is that the beginning?
Peyz turning back onto On, dashing forward into Viper as well. There's the encore, cleanse away. Keria caught out with though as Shun steps forward. Viper able to take the kill. A little bit overeager from the T1 bot side, and BLG very willing to punish.
Yeah, BLG, they pick up right where they left off. Teleport in from Knight, they use their Herald, immediately drop it. Mid lane gonna get blown open.
And this is the acceleration that BLG can bring. That charge was stopped by the pillar. They're still gonna get the damage on the turret and should be a tier 2 for BLG. Once again, they extend that gold lead to about 2.5k. There is a Baron available. Looks like they're playing for Doran instead. Riftail's going to charge through. Doran needs to get the hell out of dodge because BLG have 5 players on their way to kill off this Gnar.
All right, Doran does have flash. Can he escape?
High note out. Knight goes in with the rocket belt. Tries to get the slow onto Doran. Manages to do so. Flash away. Beat drop only finds one. Unleash power. Doesn't get the stun. The equalizer goes wide and Doran gets himself out. But the Baron was actually begun by Viper and On, and now because they do not kill off the Gnar, Doran, that last glimmer of hope for T1, manages to survive, and now T1 take the mid lane tower, take plates off the bot lane tower, and you can hear the crowd come alive because some of that T1 magic seems to be happening.
I mean, BLG, they split their focus trying to get Doran and starting the Baron, hitting a little bit, as you say, and T1 will make them pay for it. Doran does escape. The flash, the the dodge, and then the hop. Him living allows for a little bit of counterplay there, little bit of money off the turrets on the other side of the map for T1, and we're only a minute and 10 seconds away from the critical dragon fight. The Mountain Soul will arrive imminently, and you're looking at the 2 item power spikes coming in. It's pretty much across the board here. Oner doesn't quite have enough for his Spirit Visage, but everybody else for T1 has been able to complete theirs.
Where are we in terms of summoners as well? On no flash. That's the only flash lacking for BLG. On the other side, Doran, Oner currently no flash, Faker no flash, Peyz no flash, Keria no flash. It is a hard fight for T1 if they want to find purchase in it because they don't have that summoner luxury. The question is, do you give up Soul and take the Baron?
I mean, they're positioning to get the vision control of it at the very least right now.
Arrow onto Faker. He knows that's warded now. Haven't seen those arrows finding their mark as much as they'd like. No bullseyes yet for BLG as the bot lane tower falls to the slow advance.
They're going to threaten it for sure.
Minions.
They're going to start hitting.
T1 on the Baron. BLG, they must know. You see no one on the map. Wherever T1 is 22 minutes.
Hawk
Obviously
shot.
They're going for the Baron. There's a whole shot out as well.
Burn, burn, burn! Faker builds
They
a
put
wall!
down the Weaver's wall. BLG trying to climb over it. 5,000 on the Baron. The equalizer down the knockup as well as Oner falls lower. Scat of the week. Encore. Do you want more? BLG won it and Sun secures it. A scat of the week into an encore combo. Silences the crowd in Doran.
Where else but at the Baron pit? BLG are able to get around the wall. They get into the pit in time. They take down Oner. They take down the Baron. And now they're going to finish up with the base. They don't even bother with the Dragon Soul. They're going to push first.
Unlikely to be the final push of the game, but just as T1 had started to come back alive, BLG immediately put them into a sister lead. There will be an inhibitor tower in the mid lane. The Baron remains. This Red Bull Baron power play will continue for the next 2 minutes. This is Soul as well, and Soul crushing for T1. So much was lost over that sequence.
They got kind of close within range of damage on the Baron, so they decided, you know what? With this wall from Faker, let's try and burn it. But BLG still are able to get there in time. Does that hit Faker? It does. They knew the recall position.
It's not going to do anything. It just stops the recall. You can see
cool,
Knight is on. It looked very cool. It did look very cool, but we didn't need a look at the arrow. Look at the arrow. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Channel my inner Crepo for a moment.
T1 licking their wounds after that. I mean, that's the type of play that just snowballs into too much to handle. Baron and Dragon Soul and gold lead just exploding. Now BLG can take so much off the map, and feels like with that play, they are moments away.
Yeah, you can see Shun as well at 7 marks. So accelerated in this game. Doran trying to push through the bot side. He still has 1,000 gold lead, but look at the rest of the map. It's the K at least in every role. T1 trying to push through mid, seeing if they can find some pressure points on the map to play through, but BLG unwilling to give it to them.
Come.
Weaver's wall in from Faker. Saves the tower for now, but those cannon minions are going to do enough work to take it down. Faker now isolated from the rest of T1, who will just walk back towards mid. BLG can continue to push. Have another wave on its way in about 20 seconds, and the Baron will remain for it. Faker caught out the volley for a little bit of a slow. Unraveled Earth, the risk of getting stunned with a seismic shove enough to keep BLG at bay. TB behind by Doran. He's just gone mega. BLG must realize that something is up. They'll spot Doran on vision now. And I don't think he's going to go for the engage. BLG backed away enough. This is an inhibitor saving TP more than anything else.
Here comes the onslaught. BLG closing in with the Baron buff. Bin will push up mid, 4-1. Playing it safe, staying at range, waiting for the next wave here to buff up. It's a cannon.
It's the last 10 seconds of the Baron buff. Oner goes in with the Impale. Encore lands onto Oner. Subjugate comes out. Doran looking to build up that Mega Barber with the Equalizer. He might die before he can even go into his Mega form. A dance of arrows and a dance of death out from Shun. As T1 are relegated to defending only their Nexus Tower. Has been pushing in. They have no top laner. Can T1 do it? Can they find a way to get back in this game? Because right now BLG aren't giving them an inch and they need a mile. BLG here. I thought it was T1's home turf here in Doran, but BLG are claiming a small strip of soil on that stage. MSI is where they belong. This is their home ground. And T1 cannot stop their advances. The Lamb's Respite out from Shun just keeps him alive. T1 trying to get through it, but Peyz is down, Oner's down, T1 is down. And BLG will claim